think there's 2 campfires on one area. Now I'm not
Sure, he got pushed over. Just right up this way, probably.
Nature's beauty often masks a predatory unpredictability, where a scenic escape can transform into a fight for survival in a heartbeat. From campers clinging to canyon walls during a catastrophic flash flood, to lone hikers stalked by silent floating lights in the deep woods, these encounters prove that the wilderness never truly sleeps. If the shadows started moving around your tent tonight, would you stay to find out why or vanish before the sun goes down? This unsettling recording was captured by a man named Clayton. On August 22, 2024, Clayton set out on what was intended to be a peaceful camping vacation with his relatives and a few close companions. Their destination was Havasupai, a secluded area deep inside the Grand Canyon, well known for its vivid blue waterfalls, including the well-known Havasu Falls. What was supposed to be a calm escape into the wilderness quickly began to unravel as the surroundings themselves turned threatening. By 10 o'clock in the morning, the group had completed their descent to the Havasu campground and started arranging their campsite. Roughly an hour later, around 11 a.m., rainfall began. At first, it appeared insignificant. Light showers had been noted in the weather report, so they remained where they were, believing it would end shortly. What they did not realize was that this change in conditions marked the start of one of the most terrifying events they would ever experience. It would become a moment when nature revealed how unpredictable and hazardous it could truly be. They waited, expecting the rain to lessen so they could continue exploring the surroundings. But with no real warning, the circumstances shifted suddenly. An emergency flash flood warning was issued, instructing everyone to evacuate immediately and seek higher ground.
What's your last words? If we don't make it out of here. We're good. Look at that water coming over that side.
In Havasupai, the towering canyon walls and tight pathways can direct rainwater at frightening speed. The soil absorbs almost no moisture, meaning even moderate rainfall can turn into violent flash flooding within minutes. Clayton and the others did not anticipate the water level continuing to rise, but that was exactly what started to occur. Campers were scattered throughout the area, and as conditions worsened, park rangers urgently told everyone to move to higher ground without delay. Some people hurried to grab whatever items they could carry, while others were forced to abandon everything behind. As the water kept climbing, fear began to spread, and the seriousness of the situation became impossible to deny. When the rain finally stopped, a brief sense of relief washed over the group. For a short time, it seemed the danger had passed, but that feeling of security disappeared quickly when a second wave of floodwater surged through. Clayton and part of his group were able to reach elevated ground, crossing a bridge just in time. Moments later, the water rose so rapidly that the bridge itself became too dangerous to use. This left the remaining members of their group, along with several other campers, trapped on the opposite side. Fear spread as everyone watched the water continue rising with no sign of slowing down. Conditions worsened by the minute, and it became clear they were completely at the mercy of a powerful and uncontrollable natural force.
He said they have tents for us.
I'm not going back down.
The trees are going.
The situation continued to grow more severe as everyone gathered on higher ground, hoping the water would finally begin to recede. Then a terrifying sight appeared. A couple from another group was seen gripping the canyon walls, barely holding on as floodwaters rushed beneath them. Panic swept through the area until rescue teams arrived just in time, pulling the stranded pair to safety. The moment served as a grim reminder of how quickly the peaceful beauty of Havasupai could turn deadly. Eventually, the bridge became safe to cross again, allowing limited movement through the canyon. However, the lower sections remained extremely hazardous, with water still flowing at tremendous force. Helicopters were unable to reach the trapped campers immediately, so Clayton, his family, and around 50 other hikers made their way toward a nearby town within the canyon, only to discover it had also become threatened by flash flooding. They were fortunate to escape when they did, but the destruction around them was undeniable. Some campers were carried away by the raging water. Survivors later described terrifying moments of clinging to life balanced between survival and death. The speed and strength of the flood left no room for error. For those who lived through it, the memory of seeing bodies swept away by the current would stay with them forever. Clayton and his group were eventually rescued from the town the following day, while some of the most isolated hikers were not brought to safety until 2 days later. In the end, the disaster caused devastating loss. Equipment and personal belongings were ruined, and tragically lives were taken. Several people did not survive, and some were later discovered downstream. Events like this show how dangerous flash floods can be, even in locations that appear peaceful and secure. When heavy rain begins, the safest decision is to leave low areas, immediately move to higher ground, and never wait to see if the water will stop rising. If you were there, would you evacuate right away? Or would you risk waiting too long and hope the water slows down? Hold on a sec. If you're enjoying this so far, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Let's continue. The next disturbing clip comes from English Woodsman, a channel based in the United Kingdom that centers on wild camping, forest travel, and bushcraft skills. The channel is recognized for realistic solo outings, practical equipment use, and moments involving the quieter and more uncertain side of nature. The recording dates to December 31st, 2016, captured in a secluded woodland area somewhere in the UK, with the precise location never disclosed. As darkness arrives, the camper settles into his hammock, finishing his final checks around the camp before trying to sleep. Temperatures sit close to freezing while the wind grows stronger, tugging at the tarp above him. He eats a basic meal, readjusts his sleeping bag and quilt for extra warmth, and watches the trees around him. Though the forest stays mostly still, faint movement in the distance catches his attention, giving him an uneasy sense that he may not be alone.
I don't think I'm alone in the woods tonight. I think there's some other people camping out. I think there's 2 campfires on one area. Now I'm not sure if that's my eyes playing tricks. I don't want to cross paths with anybody when I'm out camping. But I'm going to try and get my head down anyway, and I'll see you all in the morning.
At sunrise, he heads toward the spot where he remembers seeing unusual lights during the night. He carefully looks for evidence such as ash tracks or disturbed soil, but finds nothing suggesting anyone had been there. Reflecting on the event, he admits the night truly unsettled him, even though the woods appear completely empty in daylight. As the video ends, he describes the experience as strange and uncomfortable, while also stating that he does not intend to avoid the area in the future. Situations like this remind viewers to remain cautious when camping by themselves, especially after dark. Noticing unfamiliar light sounds and personal instincts can help maintain awareness of the environment and decide when it is safer to watch, relocate, or wait until morning. If you experience something similar while camping, would you look into it further? Or would you stay where you are and wait for daylight? The following video comes from Camp Life Bushcraft, an outdoor channel from the United Kingdom that focuses on bushcraft skills, wild camping, and realistic forest experiences. The channel is recognized for sensible decision-making and for recording situations where leaving a campsite can be the safest option. The recording was made on August 20th, 2022 in a wooded area near the Creators Village in the UK.
Yeah.
Orgasm in a bun. Orgasm in a bun.
Yeah. Do like steak and pesto.
Oh, my steak's falling out.
We're going to eat and spend some time without you lot. Okay, so we've had supper, and a tent that's over in that direction that we saw earlier. It's kind of freaked us out a little bit. It looked to me like a cheap old Halford's tent, and we were sort of saying it's probably someone maybe homeless or...
After finding another tent already set up at their intended site, the two campers choose to move to a different location beneath a large oak tree. They start assembling a mesh hot tent using a ridgeline and a makeshift stone button, along with arranging a hammock and a chair. Drinks are poured, snacks are set out, and the mood at first feels calm and comfortable. A meal is cooked and eaten, and the atmosphere stays light as evening arrives. As time goes on, their focus keeps returning to the tent they noticed earlier. Though it is only a short distance away, it looks old and poorly equipped compared to most wild camping shelters. Ordinary forest noises such as leaves shifting and twigs breaking begin to stand out more clearly.
It's not been a comfortable evening. Keep hearing noises in that direction. Footstep. Yeah, we was just chatting. I said to Carly, it's not quite dark, so if we want to head out, what are your thoughts, my darling?
Yeah, I think we should. I don't feel... And there was a really good vibe. Whether... I think you're right, that seeing that tent has just... There's noise over there, and...
I've been sitting here quietly, and I'm sure it's just a squirrel chucking stuff about in the trees.
Yeah,
but
or a deer. I mean, logically, it's an animal.
Yeah.
It wasn't your typical wild camp.
No. I saw the tent, I thought, oh, I'll go and say hello, you know.
The thought that an unknown person might be nearby slowly replaces their earlier sense of ease. After sitting quietly for some time, they realize the other tent still seems to be occupied. Its worn condition causes concern and faint motion, and footsteps appear to come from that direction. The woodland, which had felt peaceful moments before, now seems uncertain and unpredictable.
We'll settle tonight. I think it's better to call it.
Yeah. I've been out loads recently because I've been off work, so I'm not overly fussed.
It's definitely a squirrel or something.
Yeah. But, you know, Carly's on edge, so before it gets ridiculously dark, I think we're going to pack up and head home, sleep in our own bed, which I'm quite happy to do. So we're going to switch it off now and bail.
Van!
Sounds continue as branches snap and leaves move, suggesting activity close to them. Not knowing whether the noises come from animals or another person makes it difficult to relax, and the evening starts to feel unsafe.
We're out of the forest, and we are on the kind of main footpath through the field. And yeah, travelling through the woods at night is a lot.
As night approaches and tension increases, they decide it is wiser to pack up and leave. The presence of someone unknown nearby becomes more important than any wish to remain, and staying in the woods no longer feels like a reasonable choice.
I generally go out in the dark first thing in the morning. I totally agree.
Evenings are when the axe murderers are about.
But yeah, not having the dogs.
They carefully head back toward the village along a main path. Moving through the forest after dark, aware that another person is still in the area, increases their feeling of exposure. Every sound confirms that leaving was the right decision. Camping safety is not only about weather conditions or equipment, but also about awareness and judgment. When something feels wrong, choosing to leave early can reduce risk and protect everyone involved. If you believed an unfamiliar person was close while camping, would you stay to see what happens, or would you pack up and leave while you still could? The video originates from DB Interactive Media, a channel based in the United States that publishes a variety of material, ranging from unsettling camping clips to recordings made inside well-known amusement parks. The recording was captured on September 9, 2015, within the Apache Sitgreaves National Forest, near the Mogollon Rim in Arizona.
All right, guys, this is going to be really weird. What the hell? Did you see that? Okay, I'm alone in the middle of the forest. I have wandered around all day. There's nobody here. I'm the only one. And I keep seeing these flashes off in the distance in the trees. Let me see if I can get you guys to see it. It happens about every minute. It's really strange. Let me see if you can see it. Hang on a second. I know it's dark, guys. I want you to kind of focus between in this. Oh, did you just see that?
The area is isolated, heavily forested, and located far from any established roads. The live stream opens with the camper already positioned deep in the woods at night entirely by himself. He states that he spent the whole day moving through the region and confirms that no other people are nearby. A small fire burns behind him, and elk calls can be heard echoing in the distance. Almost right away, he reports seeing something strange ahead, short bursts of light appearing among the trees. The first clearly visible flash shows up between two trunks, glowing briefly before fading away. As the broadcast continues, the flashes keep returning, appearing off and on in the same section of forest. At times, the light appears higher, at other times lower, but always within the tree line. The camper shows clear confusion, repeatedly stressing that he is alone and unable to explain what he is witnessing.
Up there in these trees. Oh, did you see that flash? It looked like really weird, and I'm the only one out here. I'm going to shut this off. Let's see if you, because it keeps doing it. Let's see if you see it. So you hear the elk? I have no axe. Nothing. Now, did you just see that? Did you see it? Campfire going here, but see, I have this campfire roar in here. Okay, so hang on, back it up. I don't know if you guys can keep seeing this behind me when I'm doing this here. Hang on, there we go. Maybe you'll see it behind me. I've wandered everywhere in the forest here all day. I see every star in the sky. There's no clouds. There were earlier different areas. It's really weird, and I don't know how to describe it. Sometimes it's lower, sometimes it's higher, and I don't know what it is. I just hear elk around. It's kind of freaky. All right, I'll turn it back again. Hang on. It is really freaky. I've never seen anything like it. Okay. All right, let's see if we can see it now. No helicopter. Oh, did you see it? It's over there in the trees. All right, here we go. I'm gonna shut the light off. Wow, there's 106 people witnessing this light. Hang on. This is really strange. That was kind of a dim in a different area. I've got the fire to my back here, so it's kind of hard for me to see in the distance, and maybe you won't see it as well, but I think you saw it a few times.
The forest stays quiet, except for distant elk sounds. He tries to record the flashes, shifting his position and camera angle, as the light continues to appear, disappear, and reappear in different places between the trees. He mentions that the site is close to the area linked to Travis Walton's reported UFO abduction, an incident later popularized by fire in the sky. This connection adds gravity to the moment as the lights continue to flash from the same part of the forest. With time, the flashes grow brighter and seem to drift sideways between the trees.
I saw a little light to the right, just a tiny one. That looked like a lightning bug, but then a big flash over there. Huge flash. This is real. Oh, and it keeps moving. This is crazy. Flare, but I mean, how often would that flare keep going? And it's been doing it for like 20 minutes. Oh, there it went again.
The camper estimates the light is floating about 30 to 40 feet above the ground, staying below the treetops and never reaching the forest floor. He deliberately dismisses ordinary explanations, such as insects, vehicles, aircraft, and lightning.
If you were out here alone, would you walk? Now it keeps looking like it's shining through the trees like a flashlight. It stays in the middle of the trees, about, I'd say, 20 to 30, oh, that's like 30, 40 feet in the air. It's like flash, but it looks like it's moving, but it doesn't hit the ground and it doesn't go beyond to the tops of the trees. It just stays in the middle.
The light then shifts again, appearing nearer than before. The camper repeatedly looks behind him and scans the area around his campsite, openly acknowledging how exposed he feels. He notes that he is unarmed and completely alone. Elk calls continue in the background while the rest of the forest feels strangely still.
A bear in the tree, about 30 feet up. And it's weird, it's localized in that area. It's really odd. I haven't drank anything. Do you guys see it? Oh, and that stayed lit longer.
At one moment, a single flash remains visible longer than the others. This prolonged glow clearly unsettles him. He pauses, watches the trees closely, and admits the situation is becoming genuinely frightening. After nearly 20 minutes of recurring flashes, the camper chooses not to approach whatever is in the woods. He stays close to his campfire and vehicle, fully aware of how vulnerable he is in such a remote location with no explanation and no sign that the activity is ending. The live stream concludes without answers. Being alone in an isolated forest can make small, unexplained details feel far more intense, especially when there is no obvious source for what is being seen. If you encountered lights like this moving through the trees while camping alone, would you remain to observe or leave before the situation became worse? The unsettling nighttime event comes from Adam in the Wild, a YouTube channel located in the United Kingdom, where Adam records true unscripted outdoor situations. His content usually centers on stealth camping solo overnight stays, and remaining in areas that are socially or practically difficult, blending light humor with real tension instead of staged frights. The footage was captured on July 20th, 2023 in England, inside a wooded section just off the A64, near the Red Bus Cafe lay-by.
I don't know what's going on here. I'm literally more than waist height in bushes. Oh, I'm falling over it a lot. This isn't the spot I found before, but I think there's a flat spot in there. There is clear paths, but I just can't see them in dark, man. Yeah, there's flat spots here. Oh, that'll do. Right, the road's just through there.
After parking his car beside the road, Adam moves into the forest in near total darkness. He struggles to follow weak trails, pushing his way through thick brush and uneven terrain. Visibility is extremely limited, and the area shows clear signs of frequent foot travel, making the woods feel more active and less isolated than he had expected.
At first I thought it was an owl. I think it's either foxes shagging or human, and she's having a great time. This is mental, this.
While attempting to set up his tent, Adam starts to hear nearby noises he cannot clearly identify. He stops to listen, unsure whether the sounds come from animals or from people, especially since the location is close to the road. This uncertainty quickly raises his anxiety as the woodland no longer feels empty.
I've got to turn the flash off because we've got some doggers. We've got some doggers. Look. Fuck you. Oh my God. We've got some doggers. There's a car here. Right. Let's go see if we can find them in action. Right. There's a car here. There's only one reason why there's a car here. And that's because they're up to something.
Later during the night, Adam steps outside his tent to look around and notices a vehicle parked at the lay-by. He understands there are very few reasons for a car to arrive at that hour, and the idea that others might be using the same area causes him to move more carefully through the trees.
They're in the same woods as me, man. Oh, that's quite a scary thought. This is mental. We're celebrating finding some doggers. The stealth camp worry inside me is saying they are in the same woods as me, but I just can't find them. Might be a bit awkward if I found them.
He searches briefly, but does not locate anyone, which only deepens the unease. Knowing that unseen people could be nearby makes the situation feel awkward and possibly unsafe, leading him to return to his campsite.
I can only describe as something or someone knocking around my tent. Been on this channel for 3 years, you know how honest I am. I'm not just going to say to you, oh, it was definitely a person, because it could have been a fox or a badger or a whatever. I saw a dead skunk on the road, I think, but then I don't know if it was just in my head, but I heard like someone was talking. Could have been that car, that one.
At around 2 in the morning, Adam wakes up to the sound of movement close to his tent. He explains it as something shifting or striking nearby, though he cannot decide whether it was caused by an animal, a person, or something else entirely. He also believes he may have heard voices, but remains uncertain. Rest becomes difficult, and the remainder of the night passes with very little sleep. By early morning, Adam packs up quickly and leaves the area heading straight to work. He later reflects that the night was uncomfortable and mentally exhausting, especially knowing that other people had been in the woods while he slept. Although the stealth camp itself technically worked the mix of darkness nearby, strangers' unexplained nighttime sounds and fatigue leaves him questioning whether continuing to camp in places like this is worthwhile. Nothing openly dangerous ever appears, but the mix of poor visibility and unseen individuals nearby is what makes the experience feel wrong. If you became aware that others were moving around your camp without being seen, would you stay and endure it or pack up and leave before the situation became worse? The next clip of the night comes from Camping with Sasquatch, an outdoor and cryptid-focused channel based in the United States that centers on solo and small group camping trips in remote forest regions. The channel is recognized for recording unusual noises, damaged trees, and strange woodland formations commonly associated with Sasquatch legends. The footage is dated March 5, 2025, and takes place within Sam Houston National Forest in East Texas, United States. The narrator states that his friend Brandon is camped nearby, and the two meet to discuss recent reports of Sasquatch activity in the area. They head out together on a nighttime walk along a gated Forest Service road. Brandon releases a loud howl to see if it provokes any reaction from the surrounding woods. The forest remains completely quiet with no wind or background sound, creating a tense and watchful atmosphere.
Tree got pushed over. Just right up this way, probably, I don't know how far. It wasn't really far. But
what,
it was
200 yards maybe?
Yeah, maybe 150 yards.
Just minutes after the howl, a living tree about 100 to 150 yards away is suddenly pushed over. Strong cracking and crashing noises echo through the forest, despite there being no wind or visible explanation. The sound is abrupt and deeply disturbing. After returning to camp, another noise almost identical to the first is heard sometime later.
Have you ever heard that before?
No.
That isn't the end of it. A while after returning to camp, we heard another very similar sound.
The next day, under clear and sunny conditions, Brandon hears a sharp cracking sound again, followed by barred owl calls. These noises come from separate parts of the forest, reinforcing the idea that the activity was not limited to nighttime.
It's kind of interesting that a broken tree, probably 8 feet up the hike, going through a lot of baby trees here, lots of arches. It's pretty cool. If you can see that through there, that's a bit odd. Let's see if we can have a closer look at that. Like an arch there. Huh. It's like a little dome again. Wow. God.
While examining the nearby area, the narrator highlights unusual tree formations, including arch shapes, dome-like structures, and small shelter-style arrangements made from bent or fallen trees. These formations stand apart from the surrounding woodland, creating an almost unnatural appearance and suggesting places where something could remain concealed. Reflecting on the experience, the narrator considers how the sudden tree fall, the unexplained sounds, and the daytime cracking all demonstrate how unpredictable the forest can be. When combined with the strange tree formations, the events leave both men with more questions than answers. If you encountered something like this in a remote forest, would you attempt to investigate further, or would you choose to leave and not look back? That's all for tonight's video. Which encounter gave you chills? Let us know in the comments below. Got your own experience? We want to hear it. And whatever you do, don't miss what's coming next.